If you have the book called Are You With Me in your library right now, it's a book on grief, like how children can process grief. You might want to take a second look at it, or maybe not look at it at all. The reason I say that is because the woman who wrote it ostensibly wrote it because she was dealing with grief with her kids. Their dad was killed, died in his sleep. And so she wrote the book and then went on TV to promote it. And all of a sudden, as it turns out, she's actually been arrested and charged with his murder. That is Kouri Richins, Utah Mama 3. Here's some of the stuff that the police found. Apparently, Kouri sent a text to somebody named CL asking for fentanyl. Quote, some of the Michael Jackson stuff, to be specific.
Oh, fentanyl's running crazy in our communities. Apparently, someone who was looking to murder her husband was one of the main purchasers here. Her name, as you guys heard, there was Kouri Richins, but she wrote this children's book. Now, I don't know, maybe the book is still good enough and it has some level of teachable moments in it, but the background to it just might be an issue. She went on a book tour and everything, promoting the book, talking about reasons why that she wrote it. Keep that in mind as you also remember that she's been charged with murdering her husband. Watch.
So my husband passed away unexpectedly last year.
So you actually wrote this book with your children?
I did. It's just comforting to them to know that, they're not living this life alone. Like Dad is still here. It's just in a different way. I just wanted some story to read to my kids at night. And I just could not find anything. I couldn't find anything that really, suited them or helped them find comfort and peace. And so, I was like, let's just write one.
She's in search of comfort and peace for her children, and this is the devastating details of the comfort and peace that her children were seeking, but it was under these circumstances. She told investigators, by the way, according to this document, that she slept in one of her children's bedrooms because the child had a night terror. She allegedly woke up around 3 o'clock in the morning and found that her husband was in their bedroom, cold to the touch, is the way she described it. And the thing is, though, is she had tried to poison him a couple of times before, and he suspected the whole thing. Authorities accused Kouri Richins of having obtained these fentanyl pills from an acquaintance identified as CL, as you heard. The acquaintance got 15 to 30 fentanyl pills and delivered them to Richins, who paid $900 for those drugs. And 3 days later, on the 14th of February, sadly Valentine's Day, Eric Richins became ill after they had a Valentine's Day dinner at home. Again, that's according to that document. So when that didn't work, she went in again. Eric believed that he had been poisoned. Eric told a friend that he thought his wife was trying to poison him, is what investigators wrote. Then about 2 weeks later, the defendant contacted CL yet again and said that her investor wanted something stronger and asked for again. That's when she asked for the Michael Jackson stuff. And then the defendant asked specifically for fentanyl. And again, she paid $900 for it again. And then days later, it finally worked out, I guess, allegedly in her favor. Her husband then died, and then books had to be written, mourning had to go through for her children. And again, Adrian, this is one of those things we talk about, gun violence and how families are torn apart and people aren't understanding what could potentially have happened to their family members if they're young enough. Think about the processing these children, these families have to go through after something like this.
Absolutely. And I love the fact that she had put out the book there to help with the processing. Yeah. But for it to turn out that she is at least accused of being the culprit for creating the situation that she said gave her as the book, that's some twisted stuff. Yeah. Let me tell you, yeah, for real. And we have, unfortunately, children dying every day due to guns, but also losing their parents and whatnot due to society, the one we've created that's completely unsafe. And so the reality is that children do need to have guidance to learn how to adjust and to live in this new world that we have created. And as far as I'm concerned, this woman is largely kind of just a reflection, a product of that. Because again, what she did, whole different level of wild, whole different level.
As you mentioned that, I was thinking, I said, now it turned into a financial decision or a financial goal. Mm-hmm. Like this whole thing happened, and let's write a book. Let's go on a book tour even. The boldness is off the charts for how much she's doing with. Real. She was doing surrounding a murder.